There is a line, a boundary we draw in our professional lives. It's invisible, but it shapes every decision, every interaction. In the world of event planning, that line is both a shield and a tightrope. For some, it's a wall. For others, a thread. The difference is often experience, or perhaps the stories we carry from one event to the next. This line separates our role from ourself, our duty from our desire. It's the reason we can smile through chaos, and the reason we sometimes lie awake at night, replaying every detail. But what if your job is to step into the most intimate moments of someone else's life? To craft the perfect beginning for their love story? To witness the trembling hands, the whispered promises, the tears of joy? Engagement planners live in this world. Empathy is their tool, vicarious joy their product. They become experts at reading unspoken wishes, at anticipating every hope and fear. The danger? When the fantasy you create for others becomes the one you crave for yourself. It's a slow, seductive pull, one that can catch even the most seasoned professional off guard. The slide from professional to personal is rarely dramatic. It's a series of small, almost invisible steps. A favor done after hours. A secret wish scribbled in the margins of a schedule. This is the story of May, Shanghai's most sought-after engagement planner. Her professionalism was her armor, her empathy her gift. She was known for her calm under pressure, her ability to make every client feel like the only one in the world. But when the architect of happiness starts to believe the blueprints are meant for her, boundaries blur. The fantasy she sells becomes a mirror, reflecting her own longing. We'll follow May into the hidden world of her growing obsession, where desire curdles into subtle sabotage, where the line between helping and hoping becomes dangerously thin. It's a cautionary tale about the need for emotional boundaries, especially when your job is to sell a dream. In this industry, the heart is both a compass and a liability. Sometimes the line between professional and personal isn't crossed in a leap, but erased by longing. In the world of engagement planning, fantasy is both the job and the risk. In Shanghai's elite circles, May was a legend, her name synonymous with flawless romance and unforgettable moments. Her business, the Crimson Knot, was the gold standard for bespoke proposals. From orchestrating a surprise rooftop serenade under the city lights to arranging a private art gallery proposal for a renowned collector, May's touch elevated every event. She could read a client's heart in an hour, curating memories and weaving together the perfect moment. One client recalled, "She saw what we wanted before we did." Her professionalism was flawless, her network unmatched. Top-tier vendors vied for her partnership, knowing her events set trends across the city. Clients felt safe. She was the invisible hand guiding men toward their most romantic selves. "With May, nothing could go wrong," one client raved. Yet behind the calm, May's own life was solitary. Her passion poured into others' stories. Her reputation brought her endless referrals, but little time for herself. She was the architect of love, never its resident. Living on the periphery of romance, she observed a feast she never tasted. Into this carefully managed world walked Daniel, carrying the spark that would ignite everything. For May, the line between observer and participant was about to disappear. For May, the seeds of obsession were planted long before Daniel ever walked into her life. As a child, she watched her parents waltz in the living room, dreaming of orchestrating moments of magic for others. Years of planning events for friends, always searching for that spark of connection, left her longing for something deeper, something personal. Daniel was different, precise, poetic, and deeply in love with Chloe. But when he came to May, he brought stories, not just ideas, and listened to her as an equal. For the first time, May felt her own dreams reflected in someone else's vision. Their meetings stretched, drifting from proposals to personal passions. They shared stories of childhood, favorite books, and secret hopes, the boundaries between planner and client dissolving with every conversation. Daniel valued May's opinion, making her feel seen in a way no client had before. Compliments lingered in the air, and May found herself replaying their conversations late into the night. She became his confidant, intoxicated by the intellectual and emotional intimacy. The thrill of collaboration blurred with the rush of personal connection, and May's heart began to race at every new message. The professional boundary dissolved. Their collaboration felt like a secret project, a world built for two. Every detail of the proposal became a coded message, every meeting, a stolen moment. For May, the process became about her and Daniel, not Daniel and Chloe. She started to see herself in the story she was helping to write. The emotional charge of the proposal became a conduit for her own unmet needs. Old wounds and new desires tangled together, fueling a longing she could no longer ignore. She began to mistake professional appreciation for personal affection. Every thank you, every compliment, felt like a secret confession meant only for her. The line blurred when she stopped seeing herself as the planner and started seeing herself as the partner. The fantasy became irresistible, and reality began to slip away. Obsession took root in the fertile ground of professional intimacy, watered by years of longing and the intoxicating possibility of being truly seen. May's professionalism became a mask for obsession, a carefully constructed facade that hid the storm of longing beneath. She created a secret folder, Project Nightingale, overflowing with mood boards and poetry that whispered her own desires, not Chloe's. Each image was a confession, each line a hope she dared not speak aloud. Late-night texts, once about logistics, became a lifeline. Every message from Daniel was a spark, every reply a small victory that fed her growing infatuation. Meetings became her stage. She dressed for Daniel, rehearsed every word, and stretched sessions just to linger in his presence. In her mind, she replayed these moments, imagining herself in Chloe's place, chosen, adored. By day, she was the consummate planner, efficient, composed. By night, she surrendered to her secret world, letting her imagination run wild with what-ifs and stolen glances. The warning signs, secrecy, blurred boundaries, constant mental rehearsals, were intoxicating. May relished the thrill, the sense of danger, the feeling that she was living a story no one else could see. In her private world, May felt powerful and alive, the author of a romance that belonged only to her. The fantasy grew, evolving beyond professional boundaries, more vivid, more consuming, and far more compelling than any reality she'd ever known. Obsession leaks into reality, distorting it. May's secret feelings began to sabotage the proposal, delayed bookings, scheduling errors, and overlooked details that seemed like plausible mistakes, all keeping Daniel close. Each error created a problem only she could solve, reinforcing their connection and making Daniel rely on her expertise. She subtly planted doubts, reframing Daniel's relationship with Chloe through her own lens, suggesting better options that complicated Chloe's choices, or offering ambiguous advice that left Chloe second-guessing. The sabotage wasn't malicious, but a desperate attempt to prolong the fantasy, each small act a way to delay the inevitable. If the proposal succeeded, her connection to Daniel would end, so every slip was a silent plea for more time. The chaos she created was both a cry for help and a way to keep him tethered, but it strained her professional reputation and Daniel's trust. Her reputation for perfection was at war with her heart's need for chaos, leaving her anxious and distracted. May's internal conflict became visible in every small, accidental misstep, each one chipping away at her confidence and the trust she'd built, as the line between her personal longing and professional duty blurred beyond recognition. The unraveling began with a single, almost imperceptible click, a mouse pressed in the hush of midnight. Daniel, plagued by a gnawing suspicion, sat alone in the blue glow of his office, scrolling through endless spreadsheets and emails. Each message, each timestamp seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. He noticed the first anomaly, a booking confirmation sent at 2:13 a.m., then deleted and resent with a subtle change. The calendar app showed events shifting, appointments vanishing and reappearing, always in the dead of night. Daniel's heart pounded as he traced the digital footprints, conflicting times and emails, highlighted passages that didn't match his instructions. May's messages grew stranger, professional updates followed by personal questions, her tone shifting as the hour grew later. He mapped the chaos, a digital web connecting late-night texts, sudden mistakes, and the moments when May's curiosity about his life bled into her work. The evidence was damning. A secret folder labeled Project Nightingale, filled with mood boards in his favorite colors, poetry he'd once shared, and a proposal design eerily tailored for May herself. The suspense built with every discovery. Daniel's hands shook as he pieced together the timeline, realizing each professional error coincided with a surge of personal messages from May. The betrayal was not just in the details, but in the intent, his most cherished plans twisted into someone else's fantasy. The confrontation was silent, the air thick with dread. Daniel laid out the evidence, emails, the secret folder, the tangled threads of their text history. May's composure shattered, her hands trembled, her secret world exposed in the harsh light of truth. For Daniel, the emotional impact was devastating. The engagement he'd dreamed of was tainted, his trust shattered. He looked at May, her face crumpling, and felt the weight of a line crossed, a chasm now yawning between them. He stood, voice barely above a whisper. "I think we're done here." May was left alone, surrounded by the ruins of her obsession. The digital trails she'd woven had become her undoing. The dream she'd crafted for others now lay in pieces, scattered across an empty, echoing office. May's story is a warning for anyone in emotionally charged professions. In the business of emotion, boundaries aren't just helpful, they're essential. Empathy is a superpower, but without boundaries, it becomes a vulnerability. Setting limits protects both you and your clients. The line between feeling for someone and feeling as them is perilously thin. For example, a planner might find themselves answering texts at midnight or feeling responsible for a client's happiness long after the event is over. Professionals like May can project their own unmet needs onto clients, mistaking fantasy for reality. It's easy to blur the line between professional care and personal longing. Her obsession was less about Daniel, more about what he represented, the ideal partner she created for others, but never for herself. This is a common trap, confusing our clients' dreams with our own. The lesson: self-awareness is critical. Regular reflection, like journaling or debriefing with a mentor, helps keep your emotional boundaries intact. Professionals must ask, are these my feelings or am I absorbing my clients? A simple check-in can prevent emotional overload. Empathy and imagination build bridges, but require containment. In practice, this means communicating your limits, scheduling downtime, and seeking support when needed. Without boundaries, empathy leads to burnout, imagination to delusion. Real-world example: a planner who never says no may end up resenting clients or losing passion for the work. True connection comes from meeting others as whole individuals, not losing ourselves in their stories. Healthy boundaries allow us to serve with compassion, without sacrificing our own well-being. The most important question: where does imagining another's world end, and colonizing it with our own fantasies begin? In the business of emotion, boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to authentic, sustainable connection.